everyone, Brian Pacman here with another Lightroom walkthrough tutorial. Today I'm going to be editing a recent band shoot where I captured a live set along with some promotional content. I'm going to go ahead and go through my process of how I cull, edit, and color grade these images. Let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and let's go to full screen here on the Lightroom. Full screen, awesome. Alright, so I've already imported my images here, and I took a combination of photos and video for this. So I went ahead and I filtered out the videos, and I went ahead and marked them as rejected. This way they're not gonna show up between my images as I'm trying to cull and edit here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start from the beginning. I used two bodies for this shoot, so I have them both selected here. And what I'm gonna do is cull, which is I'm gonna review the images, which ones are gonna be keep, which ones are gonna be rejected. And at the same time, I'm gonna make sure the color, grading, the exposure, everything looks good. And then I'll go over a little bit of my thought process as we go through these images here. All right. So the first one, this is me testing lighting. Go to develop module. And here we can see my ISO, my focal length, my aperture, shutter speed. He's just setting up his iPad, not really a shot we need. And then I'm going to filter by unflagged. This way, as you see me reject them or mark them as rejected, they remove themselves from the camera roll down here. If I take off that unflagged filter, you'll see they're here, but they're grayed out. For me, once I reject the image, I really don't need to see it again, so I like to keep that filter on. All right, here we go. So got him. He's like tuning. This is fine. Yeah, I shot these, I think a lot of these, because it's continuous lighting on the stage. I wasn't using flash or anything else. The only variations I get is when I shoot from, like, let's say like this guitarist, his light was a lot stronger than the lighting on this guitarist here, or even the singer. And of course, depending on what angle you're shooting from, you'll see some variations in exposure. And here you can see. Actually, first thing I'm going to do, let's see if any of these presets look good. I kind of like that black and white one. That one's kind of cool. In this case, I'm not even going to use any presets. We're just going to go through and we're going to do a little base analysis first of how the lighting looks. And this is about sunset time, but most of these I could tell just looking off the bat. Here we go into grid view and check. They're all somewhat consistent, and this is fairly common when shooting a live band set. Nice. I see a lot of duplicates here, so when I start going through them, those ones will be quickly rejected. Typically, I will pick the sharpest or clearest one out of the bunch here. So, okay, let's get started. I have, let's see, about 1,300 images here. So we're going to go through them and reduce them down, and then add the ones that we like. So in this case, this is actually a pretty even exposure. And if we want, we could hit auto here to see if it improves anything. I don't like it when the vibrance or saturation goes up on auto, but overall, that actually did make the image look better. And since we have so many images, could you imagine? We did this for every image, like this, hit auto, make these adjustments. It's going to take a long time. So I'm going to also show you how to edit quickly. And I use a lot of keyboard keystroke shortcuts. One of my favorite ones is once I have the setting. So here, this image, same guy here. I'll paste over the setting. That looks pretty good. And if I need to, I could click on the slider adjuster that I want. And you see here, with the plus or minus keys, I can make it darker or brighter. If you want to do it on shadows, you can do that too. In all the cases, I always have it on exposure. And what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for a middle ground. I'm looking for an image that maybe this is a good image here because we have light, dark. Yeah, you know what? It's not bad. So this is actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to Command A, Control A, select all 1300 images. You see that? And I want to sync all of them the same. So I'm going to paste that setting from this image to all 1300 here. I can deselect as it's doing its thing. And there we go. Okay, so right now, all the images have that adjustment. To find an even better middle ground, I already know with band images, I'm going to lose a lot of details in the dark areas. So the shadows, I could even bring it up a little bit here. And I'm just looking at the image that's going to give me a good representation of highlight, darks, shadows. It's not too bad. Contrast a little bit, and with band photos, especially live sets, clarity just a little bit. It's always nice. And you see synchronizing settings. So if you look at what I'm doing, I'm actually editing or making adjustments here for 1300 images at the same time. I could deselect. Now, if I click on one, you see that the adjustments are there. Click on another one, the adjustments are already there. This is going to allow me to go through them a lot faster, and I could go through and just lighten and darken as I go because the contrast, the shadows, the highlights are already set to a parameter that I'm happy with. So here we go. Just darkening. These guys, they're just setting up. These are just test shots. You might be thinking like, oh wow, you're gonna go through all the images and just darken them like this. You know what? Yeah, sometimes I have to. If I see images that are similar, I could paste the previous setting, which is gonna save some time. And using the shortcuts helps save a lot of time. Another thing I like to do is now that I have the baseline adjustments across the images, I could select these, and instead of letting Lightroom take its time on building the preview, I could go to library here, and on top here we're gonna build standard previews. So what's gonna happen is that when I am in develop here and I go to the next image, it's not going to be slow in showing my adjustments, and it's not going to be slow in loading the actual image. Sometimes when you go from one photo or one image to another, it'll be slightly blurry, and then it'll come into a sharper, clearer image once that preview loads. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and build standard previews for the 1300 images, so when I start editing, I don't have to wait for it to load. And you'll see, yeah, here the settings are already applied. Maybe if I go down here, we can show you. So here's the image, and you see there's like a little delay. You can see on the thumbnail right here on the timeline. because it's building the previews. Yeah, just a little delay. So by building these standard previews first, it will definitely allow you to go through and cull and edit these images much faster. Now, if you do a whole batch edit across all those images again, then that standard preview you built is gone and you'll have to rebuild it. So as long as I don't make any changes down the camera roll later, I won't have to wait for it to load. So we're gonna go ahead and let it do this thing here. All right, standard previews were built already. Okay, so now the standard previews are built. We left off here. This way, go through them. They don't have to load. They have all the adjustments that I want to see. Awesome. It's gonna make it a lot smoother. Now, just using keystrokes. Go next, next, next. Blurry, reject. Like these are like a lot of him from this angle. So in cases like this, the lights are changing here, so I'll keep them. I'm not gonna get rid of them. These ones here, we could probably get rid. I don't have that too many. Okay. Some from back side of the stage, getting some different angles. And as I'm shooting, I'm moving around the stage. I'm moving from the side of the stage to the back of the stage, and what I'm doing is checking the lighting, checking the framing. You know, they're not going to use all of these images here, but for me as a photographer on site, I need to make that mental note of what the lighting looks like from where I stand and what angles are available to me while I am photographing this live set. That one's kind of soft. Okay. So same thing, I'm just going through. Like the ones like this, I don't know, like, I don't need all of those. For me, I know a lot of photographers may limit the amount of photos that they give to their client. For me, it doesn't take that much more effort because I'm already in here. Yeah, these are okay, I'll keep those. I'm gonna keep going through. Dark. A little bit dark. So I see some that look dark, I just go through plus exposure. There we go. Got close-ups and a little soft. Actually, no, it's not too soft. Just a little dark. That one's too dark. Okay. Now, that going one by one like that can be a little bit more time consuming since I know that I photographed a lot of the individuals of the band members in the same little burst. I'm going to go ahead and select all 4 of these, adjust exposure, and you see how it changes across all the images there. You have to make sure your auto sync is selected because if it's not, it won't make the changes across the images you select. And here's another set. So I have a whole bunch here. I selected 7, and there I put the exposure up. Easy. Now, getting a little bit more comfortable, I go through, see what's blurry, see what's not good. I could take that one out, and I'll just select that whole bunch. Exposure change just a little bit. This one doesn't do too much for me here, and that one's rejected, blurry. That's better. So all I'm doing is making quick decisions here on the editing. Like this, you don't need so many, but I kind of like the red tone there. And one thing that they asked me was, you know, make sure to get pictures of the whole band and individuals of the band as well. And loading the previews, look how much faster I could go through, and it doesn't have to propagate the changes. Man, look at that, his hat fell off. He was rocking out so hard. I'll keep that in there. Yeah, some of these like blurry soft ones, sometimes they look good, like if I put like a black and white, I can bring the exposure up a little bit. Like, oh, that looks kind of cool. All right, in this case, here, let's just take it off. I could go back in and do my black and whites later. At this point, I just want to go through, remove blurry, unwanted images, like that. These from this angle, there's not as much going on. The drummer needs some shots too. Okay, here's another blurry one. So one of the things I like to do when I'm shooting anything live or an event is, you can see here, here's 18 on the crop, wide focal length. I'll switch to 150, completely tight, and change focal lengths, and then to like a medium telephoto. I want to make sure I could capture a wide establishing, details to show details, show some personality, and some medium shots, because the medium shots help paint a more complete picture. The back of people's heads aren't the best thing to photograph. Always the emotions, the eye contact, things like that, those appear much stronger. In this case, this is like a lot from this angle, so I'll take those out. I think from the back, these kind of wider shots worked a bit better. Here, I'll go ahead and select those. Increase a little bit there, and let's see. See, like this one's okay, but we got this mic pull here, so I'm going to take those out. And then let's see, increase. So even this, it's like this profile, it's not much of a story here or composition. Even the lighting, got the shadow from the mic stand there, and you can see I'm switching between the different band members to make sure they all get some good photos. You know, later on they're going to want to look through these images, and for sure they want a good solid band photo of the whole band, but a lot of them, they're going to want like a cool image of just them. They could use it for social media, profile picture. Oh, his hands are up, but it's covering his face. Keep it, don't keep it. I'll keep it. And again, just quickly going through. Select these. And that's another thing. When so it's a 4-piece band. They're playing predominantly like rock, punk music, Social D, and there are some of the songs where this guy, so this gentleman was mainly the lead vocal. He did some songs as lead as well, and there's also a bag of vocals by the guitarist here. So one thing that's going through my mind is, all right, when the songs come up that have more opportunity of the different bandmates singing, I want to make sure I get shots of that. And you'll see that as I'm going through the images. And then here I stepped away from the stage and decided to go further back. This way we get the whole stage, the whole band. It was a 1-hour set, so to make it the most use of that hour, you gotta move around. You just can't be stationary and stay in one spot. Here we can see some seating, some people sitting there. And one thing you'll notice is that obviously the stage is lit with stage lighting, and everything else is really dark. There's not much we can do as far as on the spot getting the exposure right, but what I did was, for sure, I'm going to expose for the highlight, because I don't want the band to look blown out, just so I could get the details of the stage, which doesn't tell that much of a story. The story is going to be in the band. That is what I'm exposing for. These are still a little bright, so I bring it down. There. Okay. And I got some more close-ups from a different angle. And I'm working the stage, working the area. Those are overexposed. Bring those down a little bit. And you see, I'm not just gonna edit one. I selected 4 from the same little batch of photos here at that focal length. And I could remove some of these that don't look as flattering, especially like the mics in the eye there. Don't need that one. These are a little redundant, but it's okay. Like the singing one. Singing, see, try to capture that. Those exposures look good. More of the band. One thing that's challenging is because they're a 4-piece band and the way the stage is laid out, you got these cymbal stands, you have mic stands, instruments. So I had to look for an angle that I could get each band member clearly in the shot, because there are some angles where, like this one, this is a good angle because I can see everyone. So these are ones that I want to spend time, make sure the exposure looks good. And let's see if there's another one like this one. Like this angle, you can't see the drummer because the cymbal's in the face. So you gotta move, you gotta walk around and look for the perspective that will suit your goal. In this case, I needed a perspective that showed all the band members. I found one, I took a bunch. Tight, medium, wide. Here, I tried another perspective of the whole band. Drummer's blocked a little bit. That's okay. There's still more to choose from. I'm just gonna go through, just like this. Yeah, that one's soft. And one thing about taking photos of a band, you can't hear the photos. You don't hear the audio. So you have to think, what are going to be the best places and times to take their photo? Because from song to song, it looks the same. You can't tell whether they're singing song A or song B. It looks the same. So you need to pick those opportune moments and look at them as, all right, they did this song. I got photos of this angle and this band member. Let me see on the next song if I could get them on the solo or from this angle. So all these slightly overexposed. So I just went down a little bit. Awesome. And I could remove some of these blurry ones. Yep. Okay, now we got some whole band ones here. Yeah, these ones taking a second to propagate those the settings that I had, which is fine. I can see still the changes. All right, so those two, I'll go bright. Like we're almost halfway done. And you'll see, I know some of these have a little bit of noise. I'm shooting at a pretty high ISO, but we're gonna go back and adjust that later. Drummer shot, guitarist. The two guitarists in the end, they must have been closer to the light source because they came out a little bit more overexposed throughout the set, which is fine. And you have to keep that in mind because that's gonna dictate your editing later. And since I already know, like this guy, he pretty much, the lead singer had a darker light source on him. He's not as overexposed. And then when he came to like this side, he had a really hot light right over here. And that's when I say, like, that's why you find a middle ground as far as exposure in the images. So look for those shadows, look for those highlights. and then make those adjustments across everything. This way you have a solid baseline. And that's why I like using the presets in most cases, because I could select all my images, choose a preset, and more quickly go through the images and cull them as needed. Face autofocus there. And I'm not being super picky. I'm choosing obvious photos that are blurry here. Now, the new Lightroom does have a new assisted culling feature that we could probably check out later. In the past, I've used things like Photo Mechanic and Aftershoot to help cull my images. But I feel like I'm such a heavy shooter that I end up culling through the images anyway. I like that one. So I find it easier if I just do it myself. Here you can see my cameras are actually not synced on time, so the photos are a little bit out of order. For a wedding or an event that's more chronological, I do like having the camera synced or syncing it here in the metadata. In this case, it's not too much of a hindrance. And a lot of times, you know, these pictures, they're subjective. I might think a picture looks good or bad, and the person in the picture might think it looks good or bad according to their taste. I actually don't know. So for me to like remove all of these images and just keep one based on my decision, it's already here, it's already color corrected. I rather just give it to the client. They could pick for themselves what angle they like. Gotta get those drummer shots, man. I'm going through quickly here. See, like this one doesn't do anything. The back. See how much stronger the highlight is on him compared to him here. So let's see, we'll select those, bring it down just a little bit. White balance, I don't think we talked about it, but as far as white balance, the stage had a very, very cool light source. I was shooting at, where is it here? Yeah, I was shooting at like 6800 Kelvin was my baseline to try to get a good white balance for the stage lighting. One thing that was good is that in the video, it didn't flicker. Because with video and weird temperature LED lights, you don't really know what you're going to get. You could get banding, you could get flickering. In this case, I was able to take both photo and videos without any banding or flickering. So very good on that. Again, just going through, taking out blurry photos, the obvious ones. And I'm also making mental notes as I'm going through, because there's going to be some in here that I might want to get back to later. And if you can't make that mental note and remember it, you could always color code. So let's say, well, you know, sometimes live band images, they like that blurry, grungy look. But okay, in this case here, this one, oh, I like this one. I can mark it red. I can mark it yellow, blue, green, whatever, or you can mark it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rating, whatever you think. You could change the color coding for the photo, or you can change the rating for the photo, and this is going to help you keep track of ones that you might want to get back to later. In this case, where was I? Yeah, I was about here. Okay, so we're about halfway through. I'm just making mental notes in this case, because a lot of these I have like multiple, where his head's got cut off there. So I'm just going through really quickly here, and then I'm going to go back through and do some black and whites at the end. But first, I just want to power through these. I wish they had some lights. Man, when they have lights on the top, giving some nice hair light for the band, those photos come out great. I think that's why I like some of these angles, but they didn't have lighting that high up. yeah, like some of these kind of shots, if it was like the other way, you could get the front face of them with the light in the back. Looks pretty good. In this case, they didn't really have the hair light set up so much. They just had a lot of light facing the band, which is understandable. It's a local lemon festival, and they have several stages across the whole festival. So this was just one of the stages, and of course, depending on who set up the stage, the lighting, the company, it's going to be different. In this case, I mean, they could have. It's not bad. It could have been better, but the lighting was at least decent. And again, no flickering or banding. Now, if I shot, let's say like 120 frames, or I shot maybe silent shutter, I don't know, these guys they started talking to each other. I was like, are they gonna like battle it out on guitar? So, yeah, if I shot at maybe with a silent shutter, I don't know if banding would appear. Even at the 5000 ISO, it's not bad. And all of these are overexposed too. So I'm gonna actually select this lot and bam, bring it down. Let's see. There we see the changes apply. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Yeah, so even at 5000 ISO, it's really not that bad. I remember one of the first live sets that I shot was at the Viper Room. Man, the Viper Room. This is like over 20 years ago, and I shot on my. Yeah, it was almost 20 years ago. I shot this band, or a bunch of musicians. It was a Dimebag Darrell tribute. I got in a press pass from somebody that was writing for like a metal magazine, and I was like, all right, let's do it. So I had my I don't even know what lens it was. It's my 18 to something, and I was using my 20D. Canon 20D, now shooting at like 1600 ISO, sometimes at 15th of a shutter, just to get enough light. And man, but some of those images came out really cool. And who was there? There was like Serge Tankian was there from System, Tom Morello, Ben Harper, and that was one of my first live band shooting experiences, and it was good. It was a great learning experience, and I mean, I couldn't imagine now shooting a band with like a multi-zoom kit lens and a 20D, my 8.2 megapixel 20D. So by all means, getting quality like this at 4000 ISO, it's good. It's very good. And I'm also shooting at 2/50th of a second. I'm shooting because I'm shooting at a higher. So my rule is 1/25th of a second for shutter speed is good for handhold general photography, stationary, not fast moving objects. Now, I know that the band is performing, they're playing, they're moving around. I made sure that my shutter speed was going to stay at least 250th of a second, because I didn't want to have too much motion blur. And even then, you still saw some of these images have a little bit of motion blur. Some of that could just depend on the timing that you took the photo, and some of it can also depend on your focal length. I don't know if you guys know the rule with shutter speed and focal length, but you want your shutter speed to be twice the number of your focal length. So you're shooting at, okay, so in this case, I'm using a 18 to 150 on a crop, and then I'm using a 24-105 on the full body. Now, the 24-105, when I'm at 105, that means I need to be at least double which is why I'm at 2/50th of a second, because that's going to ensure I have less motion blur. So the more you zoom out, the higher the focal length, you're going to have to increase that shutter speed. Another example is like when I'm shooting sport photography, especially let's say it's a football stadium at nighttime. Super low lighting, high ISO, and sometimes I'm shooting at 400 millimeters. So you got to think, at 400 millimeters, to have a sharp image of even something that's somewhat moving at a moderate pace, I need to be at least 800th of a second of a shutter to make sure that image is sharp. And that could go for hand holding of a stationary object. And even here, 2/5 of a second, a little blur, get rid of it. The next one, a lot sharper. Same thing here. This one's a little bit soft. I don't think that's motion blur. This is a combination motion blur and it being soft. 2/5 of a second, I'm at 129. So here, I'm already pushing the threshold of my shutter speed and my focal length for this one. So I am somewhat relying on in-body stabilization. In this case here, look, 1/25th millimeter, 2/50th of a second. That's exactly double. And it is somewhat clearer and sharper than those previous ones, because I zoomed out a little bit. And that will change. The same thing like doing astro night photography. The rotation of the Earth is going to be more visible in your star trails if you're at a higher focal length. If you're at a wider focal length, it's not as visible. So always keep that in mind. In this bit here, I'm just like doing hand close-ups. Some successful, some not so successful, and a lot of it is, again, it's just timing, listening to the song, seeing what they're playing, when they're playing, and a lot of motion blur because I'm zooming in on them and trying to get the little details here. Like that one, there's no hand. I missed it. His hand moved. Look at that. See, his hand's moving, it's blurry. It's fine. But sometimes, look, you catch a groove. Like that one's cool. I like that. In focus, it's sharp. Good timing there. This one, softer, a little bit of motion blur. And get rid of those. Cut off. Good. Look at that, we're almost done. Take out this black one. Nice. These are all ones I could just go through quickly. Very soft. We're almost there. Okay. These are a little bit bright. I could tone those down just a little bit there. Oh, these hand ones I missed a bunch. Get rid of those. And the drummer, I tried getting his hands. The drummer was the one that actually hired me for the gig, so I was like, yeah, I better get some extra ones of him. So, you know, that I do pick favorites. I mean, usually the person who hires me or pays me, I'll hook them up. Hook them up. Yeah, these are like dark ones. Don't do those. Or the water bottle shot. Or that one. Let's see. Yeah, these ones are whatever. And then they wanted a photo with the people in the back, and where I was telling you, there's no hair light, no backlight, no highlights from behind or separation light. And then I was like, all right, I'm just gonna bump it up. So these ones for sure. Look at that, 640 ISO, histogram's going crazy. And these are the ones that were from the other camera. See, the time was a little bit off. That's why you see these photos after the set was over photos. So right there, we just went through 1,300 images. Just lowering the exposure a little bit, all that noise reduces a lot. Yeah, full pedal close-ups. I wanted to time it when he was stomping on the pedal. I couldn't do it, unfortunately. There's some more band ones. Yeah, these ones. Let's see. darken a little bit. Cool. And here, the group ones. So obviously these first ones I could get rid of. These ones here, I took a bunch, and they're all going to be the same edit. So what I'm going to do, bring the highlights down, bring the shadows up, bring the contrast, the clarity could go up, and then these ones are going to have, I would say, heavier noise reduction. Oh man! All right, let's do our overall noise reduction. So I hit Command A, Control A, and I have. Right now, look, we got down to 1200. So we took about 100 images out, which is not bad. And it didn't take much time at all. Now I'm gonna go to detail, and here's sharpening, but what we want is some noise reduction. So typically, luminance, for something like this, I think maybe like a 30, and then I'll bring up the detail because I don't wanna lose too much detail. And you can see here, it's thinking, it's doing its thing. I was sliding the bar back and forth, so it's going to take a second. I could deselect. I'm going to let it catch up here. Okay, then these ones that need heavier noise reduction, let's just select those 10. There. That looks great. Cool. All right. That was pretty fast. We're gonna do one more pass through, and this is when I'm gonna go in and single out any images that I think look really cool, and then I can spend maybe a minute or less on each one to do a virtual copy and a black and white edit. So let's go ahead and start there. All right, so let's go ahead and do our quick black and white edits here. So what I do is create a virtual copy. You could hit a command quotation mark, or you could go here and create a virtual copy. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go through quick, and I got presets here. We'll do black and white. That one's cool. Super quick. It's too bad you can't see his face there. See, and I went to the other side to see if I could get his face. I'm like, nope. So here I could see the images a little bit clearer. I could shrink this down, make bigger thumbnails there. All right. Let's see. I like this one here. There's like, so when I get two images like this that look almost somewhat the same, I could easily just pick one for black and white instead of making a virtual copy. So that's another thing you could do too. Alright, I'm gonna go through like this because I want to scroll. And then going back also allows me to come in and remove anything that I might have missed that I don't think tells a story like that, doesn't. Yeah, I do like some of those, but not enough for me to want to make an edit out of. I'm pretty much looking for a good action one, like when they're singing, like with their mouth open or something. That looks a lot better. Like this one, they're kind of jamming out. Got these three. I can't see the other guitarists, but this one's not too bad. I'll make a virtual copy, black and white. If you want to just do black and white fast, you could also just hit V. See, V will toggle between. I kind of like this black and white. It has a little bit more contrast and texture to it. Here, this one we have all of them in the shot. Here's another one. So here, we'll just create our virtual copy. And then paste that setting over, so we have one of each. Awesome. Looking for that one that we had on everybody. Like this one, he's singing. There, do a black and white of that one. And I'm still using my exposure keys shortcut. Still the quickest way for me to go through and make quick adjustments after my baseline basic adjustments here. Alright, got the whole band one. There's a bunch here. I could just duplicate one, do my black and white. I could even use a slider if I want to, or plus and minus here. Cool, I like the black and white. Always cool to throw in some black and white ones. We got a wide one here. Oops, I hit compare. Deselect and see. Oh, where was that one? Let's see if I go back. Alright, there it is. So here, develop. You can't see anything there. Oh man, look how much noise there is around there. Yeah, we could bring in the shadows down. Like that. There we go. Okay. This one. That light slot. There we go. Okay. I think I want a good one of the singer. And some of these previews didn't build all the way because I could see them changing here. And that's another good reason to just go through again. I did do the noise adjustments, so that's another reason they could be kind of like repropagating right now. Yeah, his eyes are kind of closed in that one, but he's singing. Side profile. This one's kind of cool. I'm gonna do that one. Some of the backlight. I could do this one. Maybe if I crop just a little bit. Maybe lock the crop ratio. Like that. And then copy. Throw black and white. I like the backlight there. And that could even be turned into a vertical image. Or, oh yeah, this was the one I mentioned earlier. Yeah, like that's a colon. So let's go ahead and make that one black and white. And we can even crop it a little bit. Nice. Okay. Just going through quickly here. So I can more close up one for the drummer. And we have one of these angles ready, but this one has the guitarist, so let's go ahead and use this one too. I think one of these ones would be good. Black and white. Oh yeah, this one too. See, those mental notes of some of the ones I like. I think it's faster to go through one time, edit, call, go through another time, do any cool details or anything that I think might look good as far as editing, or even to go back and remove any that that I might have missed. So in this case, we have the whole band, everyone's in the shot. Let's go ahead and change the black and white for that one too. Not wide enough to get everything, but it's mostly everything. So we'll keep that one. Some more drummer. Again, he's the one that hired me, so give him some extra edits there. Singer. This one's really cool. I think this will look good. Got some of that haziness light coming in through the side there. This I don't know if I did too many of this guy. Could add some more. He just doesn't have that. Man, I wish I had more of that separation light. Here, this one. Take that one out. Yeah, I got a singing one right here. Let's turn that one black and white. Oh, those ones. They don't need to be there. Oh, I kind of like that one. It's a good profile. Got some separation light there. Just don't like the straight on, you know, when I'm photographing them straight from the front of the stage, it's just very flat lighting. Definitely like the shadows and everything more. Oops, rejected that one on accident. Like the shadows, the backlighting, separation lighting. This one, get rid of. Yeah, there's definitely some of these I missed. Singing one, this one's pretty good with everyone. I'm just gonna duplicate it. I got black and white. Oh, so noisy. There we go. Bring your shadows down. Nice. Okay. These ones, let me just double check. Yeah. Okay. They look different here, but they're just slow to propagate because of all the editing. This is a good singing one right here. That looks good. This guy doesn't have so much expression, but still good. You don't have to do every photo. I just do this as a courtesy. Go through, show them the options of other edits that they can have. Like this one would have been good too, except for this, there's like this mesh sign off to the side. Slightly covered there by the symbol. Make sure to get some of the drum set with the custom drum head. I'll throw some black and white in there just for fun. Bam. Let's see. Getting towards the end. I think some of these close-up ones, so I'm gonna pick some random close-up ones. I say random because we just kind of went through them to see which ones were in focus or not. Okay, let's duplicate all those. Virtual copy, I'm gonna hit black and white. I already know, I'm gonna bump it up just a little bit. Cool, yeah, why not? Why not? Now we have these bad ones, that's the best I could do. They're just not facing the light. He's blinking or something. All right, cool. All right, that's it. Export. Let's get these into the same folder. Right here. Bad Luck Band, that's what their name is. Bad Luck Band. Not bad. They played a lot of the music that I listened to when I was in junior high and high school. A lot of stuff you'd hear on K-Rock. If you're from SoCal, you know K-Rock. Okay. Name, that's good. 100%. 100 quality. Resolution 300. No logos, watermark, anything into that folder, and export. Awesome. Okay, we finished. All right, I'm gonna let this export now. All right, let's go ahead and switch back to the full camera view. All right, there we go. That's it. So the photos are exporting. Overall, I'm pretty happy with what I was able to capture. This was a hybrid shoot. So I was actually switching between photo and video as I was shooting the band. This way, I was able to maximize the content that they could use for their website, their social media, future marketing. So I hope that my insight will help you for your projects and your gigs. If this is something that you like, you have any questions, drop a comment, like, follow, share. You know what to do. And I'll see you guys next time.